Good morning, everybody. My husband absolutely hates when I wear my hair like this. Do you see this? I look like a literal grandmother, but that's okay because this is how I achieve my big bouncy curls that I love. Good morning. Miss Ellen just wants to say good morning. She's watching the show. Kisses. I get to film a makeup tutorial, okay?
And I get a Thanksgiving dress.
We are gonna get a Thanksgiving dress today, that's right. So today, I actually got my hands on Colourpop's Disney Designer palette. Now, I tried so hard for weeks. I was literally checking Colourpop's website every day. I kept refreshing it. I wanted so desperately to get my hands on the big PR packaging. This collection came with like a bunch of lipsticks, some like super shock shadows, and what I really desperately wanted was the lipsticks as well, and they just kept selling out. I couldn't even get my hands on it. So the palette itself retailed for $20 and you could just buy the palette. So that's what I ended up doing. I just wanted to make sure that I could get something from the collection. So we're going to be creating a look today, but I'll show you the unicorn cart, and it's going to be really hard for you guys to see. It might not even pick up on camera. You can kind of see where it says Disney Designer, but then it just has all the Disney Princess signatures. You can kind of see it through the glare. I think that's beautiful. And then on the back, they have the color names. So like they have Chip, Juju, Grumpy, this Poison Apple, Magic Carpet, One Kiss, Thingamabob, a Boo. I'm gonna put this aside and we're gonna take a better look at it when we get up to the eye. So let's go ahead and get started on our makeup, right? So first I'm going to be starting with my 3-in-1 Hangover Prep and Primer. I feel like this has definitely helped my makeup stay on a little bit longer because I finish off my makeup with it as well. The only thing that I notice is that my foundation on my nose always tends to break up, but I've always had that problem and I'm not sure how to fix it yet, so we'll give that just a moment to dry. I'm also wearing a frumpy sweatshirt because I wasn't sure what look we were going to come up with today, so I didn't know what to wear, so I promise by the end of it, this will all pull together. I really wanted to go with something, a matte foundation today because we are entering the colder months and I definitely tend to do dewier looks in the spring and summer and then matte in the fall and the winter. However, the only matte one that I have is the Amazonian Clay, which is fantastic. However, I think the color is a little bit off because I was tanning all summer, so it's a little bit too dark for me at the moment. So I still am going to go ahead in with my Do You in Snow. I think I'm gonna skip out on the adding the Cover FX custom drops to this today. We're just gonna go in with foundation and then buff it out using my beauty blender as usual. Now what's kind of crazy is I can't find my Makeup Revolution concealer. I just bought it not long ago. I used it for Halloween. So instead we're going to be using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, but because this one is such full coverage, I really don't need a ton of product. So I'm just going to put a little bit underneath my eyes. In my usual spots, I'm just using less. Once that is buffed and blended, I'm going in with my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the color called Toast. We're going to do a little bit of cream contouring today. So I'm first just wiping the products on the hollows of my cheeks, a little bit on my hairline, and then just a little bit underneath my jaw just to soften it a little bit. And then to buff that out, my favorite brush right now is the Makeup Revolution brush, or I'm sorry, the Real Techniques blending brush. And I love how just like easily it buffs it out. You can even, instead of like swiping in circles, you can kind of just push it into your skin. I think this is one of the absolute perfect brushes I've ever used for this. You do have to kind of work quickly, however, with this product, so I try to get it down and then get it buffing out right away because it does tend to dry kind of fast. But even when it does start drying, you still have a little bit of playtime. You can kind of come in and buff out those edges. The contour on my jaw, I tend to also buff down to my neck. Once all of that is blended with the brush, I always follow up with my beauty blender just to further soften it and take away any harshness that the brush might have left behind. Next, I'm gonna set my face, so to do that, I'm still using my Maybelline Fit Me powder, and using my still damp beauty sponge, I'm just going to really press this underneath my eyes, and then I'm going to set the rest of the concealer as well. For my nose, I'm really gonna pinch my beauty blender so the powder really is just concentrated on the center of my nose. And then with the excess powder still in my tin on the butt of the blender, I'm just going to very, very, very lightly go over the rest of my skin just to set everything. But because this is a very light powder, I don't want it to like create a white cast all over my face either. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my brows real quick while my powder is sitting. I've been using the CoverGirl, what is this? The CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil, and I must say, I really, really love it. I was using the Anastasia Brow Wiz for years, but it can get, you know, a little bit pricey. It's $20 for the pencil and it only lasts so long. So I think this was less than 10 and I actually really, really love it. So I recommend giving it a try if you like those kinds of brow pencils. All right, my brows are set into place, and before I apply brow gel, I'm going to wipe the excess powder away. The reason that I wipe the powder away before I put the brow gel is because if I put the brow gel and it's drying and then I wipe the powder, it's gonna get stuck to the gel. And that's not what I want. So I just dust the powder first, and then I'm gonna go in and set them. And I don't use any fancy brow gel. Honestly, I use a $1 e.l.f. gel. I feel like it works just fine. All right, we finally get to the fun part, which we finally get to dive into the palette and start on the eyes. So here is the palette out of its unicarton. It's so beautiful. It has, well, not all of the Disney princesses, but like the really iconic ones, and they're all like in these fashion dresses, like these really modern takes on their costumes. This says Colourpop down here. Once again, has the colors on the back, but we won't see the colors until we open up the palette. So let's take a quick look. Oh, it's so pretty. So it looks like we have a bunch of matte shades. It looks like this whole top row is all matte, and then these are either like chrome or metallics. There's some shimmery shades down here as well. So it looks like we have quite a fair bit of like some pink and corals over here. There's a really gorgeous silver that keeps drawing my eye. So I think for today, I'm not quite sure yet. I don't know what I want to do yet. So I think we're just gonna start kind of dipping into some colors here and come up with something. So first I'm gonna go in with a big fluffy brush, and I think we're gonna just jump into a transition shade, and I'm gonna use this very center color here called Grumpy. Right away I'm seeing a little bit of kickback as I'm going into the pan here. Not that bad. It seems like it's going to be really pigmented. Doesn't have a mirror or anything. It just has more signatures of the princesses on top. Next I'm taking my Morphe 507 brush, and I'm going to go into Triton first and sweep that into my crease, and then I'm going to follow up with a Boo right next to that and deepen up my outer V. So I'm putting Triton right into my socket and then blending it up a little bit. I'm gonna take a brief pause and take a tiny bit of coconut oil for my lips. This weather has been making my poor lips so dry and incredibly cracked. So when we get to my lips, honestly, I might just opt out for a gloss today, or a chapstick rather, just to give my lips a chance to hydrate. Now into a Boo, and I'm gonna start flicking this into my outer corner. And I'm gonna use this false lash container to help me start to get kind of a flick out. I'm gonna go back into my fluffy brush just to help soften that a little bit. I'm going back into my Shape Tape and putting a little bit on the back of my hand because we're gonna create a, I'm kind of almost debating on changing my shape a little bit here. I started doing this flick, but I almost want to cut my entire crease, because if I do that, at least this part this shape right here will still be able to be seen. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I hope that made sense. If not, I'm about to show you what I mean. So taking a little bit of concealer on a flat shader brush, I'm gonna go in and apply this directly onto my lid. And I've actually learned from a makeup video that I watched recently that when you're creating a cut crease, this was a really good piece of advice. When you're creating a cut crease and you really want that like sharp edge, to pat the concealer on versus swiping it, because when you swipe it, you tend to move the shadow around and it can kind of get a bit muddy looking. So first I kind of made the general shape. Then I have this teeny tiny brush, which used to be a paintbrush. I never used it for paint, but that was like its marketing purpose, but I love it for my makeup. I take this tiny little brush and I use it to go in with my concealer and just really sharpen up that edge. Now I can take some more concealer and continue packing it onto my lid. We have a lot of pinks going on in the crease, so I think I'm gonna take Ray, kind of a nice light gold shade, and I think I'm gonna pack that all over my lid. Oh yeah, that's pretty. And I think just to bring in a little bit more of that pinkiness, right next to Ray is Fairy Godmother, which is kind of like a almost peachy metallic. So I'm gonna pick up just a tiny bit of that, and I think I'm gonna pop it on the center of my lid. I always find with makeup that it looks crazier until it's all done and then it pulls together. I think to ever so slightly help define that cut crease even further, I'm gonna go in with my angled brush here. And I think I'm gonna go into Poison Apple, which is this nice pretty purple. And I'm just gonna take my brush and follow that cut crease line, kind of just tapping on the color. And then ever so lightly, I'm just flicking the shadow up. So I'm kind of blending it out a little bit, but the color really is staying in one spot. As for fallout on my cheeks so far, I have a tiny bit, but nothing I haven't seen before. Just lightly following that cut crease line and then lightly dragging the color up. To even further help soften up that shadow, I'm gonna go into my Morphe 321, which is almost like my 507. It's just a little bit shorter and denser. And literally barely touching the skin, I'm going to just go over that purple one more time, just to soften it even further, especially on this edge here. I don't want any harsh lines. I think white on my lower lash line and on my waterline is fitting because we are kind of Disney princess vibe here, and it makes my eyes look much bigger and much more awake and vibrant. So I'm gonna do that and I'll be right back. Now I want to create kind of a new inner corner with this look. So to do that, I was debating on going into Thingamabob, but because I use gold on my lid, I don't want to go in with silver. So I'm going to kind of take this off-white color called Prince Charming. It's still very shimmery. I'm going to add this on my inner corner as well as my lower lash line. I'm going to take a combination of Grumpy and Triton, the very first two shades that we used, and I'm going to start sweeping this. Woo, a little bit of fallout there. I'm going to start sweeping this on my lower lash line, and I'm just going to kind of flick it up and kind of just let it fade. Ooh, that was a lot of fallout there, but I feel like that was my fault. I don't think I tapped off the brush enough. I'll wipe that away and it's gone. Just like that. I'm not going to bring it all the way to my inner corner because we're going to do something there in a second, so just kind of stopping about where my bottom lashes stop. And I know there is a lot of kind of like background noise going on. My daughter is watching her show, my in-laws are taking a shower, like there's a lot going on. I apologize. I'm sorry, but I really wanted to sit down today and film with you guys. It's been a little bit, and I was really in the mood to today. So like I said, I wanted to kind of create a new inner corner. So to do this, I'm going back into my angled brush and I'm going to take Triton again, but then I'm going to go down here into Poison Apple that we used in our crease. And then I'm going to connect this to the shadow that we placed on the bottom, but I'm bringing it to kind of a point in my inner corner. I felt like using the purple kind of tied in the top and the bottom a little bit, and then if you need to soften that, you can always go back in with a small fluffy brush. In my case, I'm just using my Morphe 507 again, just to blend that out. Alright, so that was all of the eyeshadow. I'm gonna go in with my liquid liner and add some wings. Once we have our eyeliner on, I'm gonna go in with my telescopic mascara, add 2 coats to my top and my bottom lashes. Just being careful because my eyeliner isn't completely dried yet and you don't want transfer. Alright, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of my Butter Bronzer by Physician formula to really add some color to my face. For blush today, I'm going to be going into my Narcissus palette, if I can get it open. And I think I'm actually going to go for this shade here, which is called Kingpin. Almost matches one of the shadows that we used today. I'm just going to add a bit of color to my cheeks. Not too much, but a little bit. Not huge into blush, but I feel like for some looks it definitely pulls it all together. For falsies, I'm actually using these, which I think are the Salon Perfect 615s. I think that's the brand, Salon Perfect. I just double stacked them. So I'm taking a pair and we'll pop these on. I actually don't tend to cut my lashes. I've mentioned this before, but I know a lot of you are new because I'll place them where they're comfortable on the inner corner. It's like right there feels good. And then I take whatever is left over and I kind of just stick it on and let it overhang. That kind of creates like a longer, more flicked up eye. Today has been utterly impossible to film. You guys should see everything going on behind the scenes now. I'm so frustrated. We're gonna let this completely dry and we're gonna move on to highlighter real quick. So because we use gold on my lid, I feel like using my Amarezzi is one of the perfect choices. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this to my cheekbones. Not too much because I already have blush on and I don't really want to overload my face makeup. Then I have a chapstick actually in my car. So the makeup is done. I'm gonna go finish my hair, throw on an outfit, and I'll show you guys the completed look and give you my final thoughts. Alright you guys, so this is today's finished look. I took down my hair, I got dressed, I threw on some jewelry, and I'm about to head out the door. I hope you guys liked this makeup tutorial. I know today was so hard to film. I had noises from that room, I had noises from that room, I had the dog, I had the cat, I had everybody distracting me, so I apologize for like all the distraction. Regardless, I had a lot of fun filming with you guys today and trying out that new palette. I really loved it. Colourpop has never really disappointed me with any of their products. The only thing that I was bummed out about is that I really wish I got my hands on that PR package that I wanted so desperately. Could not do it. I literally could not do it. It kept selling out so quickly. I just simply wish I had more of the collection to show you guys, but at least I got the palette. So I'm looking forward to doing more looks with it in the future for sure. There are a ton of colors that I didn't even touch today. I really like this look. It was really pigmented. The fallout was okay, but even when I had fallout, like it was easily wiped away and didn't mess up my face makeup, so I was really satisfied. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please show me by leaving a thumbs up, and if you don't want to miss any new videos, hit that subscribe and notification bell, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!